Yes, you can hear me because I've just heard recording in progress is what I have. And gosh, I'm in the studio. It's a bit odd, is what it is. But I'm going to try this for the good old days' sake. Eye of the tiger. Let's see. It's there. And I'm going to push some buttons and appreciate it might look a bit peculiar this morning from the studio and but here I am back again. I'm sure there's like lots of different songs in all of those things. Good morning, Ramazan Mubarak. Easter is coming as well, and there's been a whole range of various different religious, cultural, and international days, including I'm going to share with you about the International Women's Day. And I've just literally landed back from Manchester at the biggest advocacy event of its kind celebrating women globally. And it's the biggest event of its kind in Europe. So I traveled down there yesterday and I'll be sharing a little bit more about that. In the meantime, let's get the show on the road and play some music, I think. Let's see what happens if I push this button. Gosh, memories. Everyone's limbering up, getting ready, feeling fine, feeling divine. Good morning, listeners and viewers. You're listening to Ammar and Jalf. Not he's definitely on the jet, on a jet stream. Anyway, beautiful to be here with Super Sandeep this morning in the studio. Big shout out to Sand and the music show and drive time. But to me was here as well, right? Fantastic. Yeah, it's I must admit, one of the things that I said to Sandeep was, I'm incredibly time poor, but love the community feel of Spice FM and what Sandeep has created here. And yeah, I need to get used to pushing buttons. I haven't pushed the right buttons for a long time. Or faders. Yeah. So anyway, here we are. Good morning, listeners, viewers. You're listening to Ammar without Jalf will be here shortly. Each week we'll bring you some news, views, and one or two clues from the business world. Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote. And I forgot my lines because they're not my lines. They're Jalf's lines. Sandeep, come on, gate crush, man. Um, I think what I need to do is ask Jamie to make me and us a co-host so I can see when Jalf joins us. But let me just push some more buttons. Sandeep, how's it going? Here you are. Good. Here we are. Here we are. You're on the wrong side of the desk because no, there's a right side.
Truly the right side for me.
No, you don't. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. Yeah, push some buttons.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I'm a little bit deaf, so I need my headphones really loud. How are you doing,
Whatever your name is. Yeah, it's there.
Just focused on Jalf there, so
you were?
Anyway,
we are.
How are we doing, sir?
I know I'm tired, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I was representing the North East. Well, sort of. I was at this We Are Power event in Manchester. And it's been an incredibly hard week. Yeah, And that's what you need to
That's
do.
me.
Yeah, obviously. I could hear you. No one else could, which is interesting. Yeah, I was just saying, it's brilliant to see you. You know, it's fantastic to see what you've done with Spice FM and the community feel, and there's a real vibe about the impact and the value of Spice FM. Um, and there's so many people involved now as well. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, because the community's grown so much in the Northeast. When we first started, the South Asian community, which was still the largest minority community, but it was still relatively small in numbers. It's massive now. We've got so many groups from all over. I mean, especially the Indian subcontinent. We've got people from Maharashtra and Gujarat and Hyderabad. So it's really good. We've encapsulated all that, and we've brought these people on from various areas, and they're doing shows that are relevant to their communities. So it's really
Okay,
good.
is
Really
that
good.
so? There's regional variances, and people might not realize this, but the size and scale and scope of India
Yeah.
is so big. You've literally got a series of many countries, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, you'd think, I mean, Hindi's the national language. It's like English being the national language of England, but then certain parts of England, can you imagine they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't speak English. We speak this language or that language." So that's like what happens in India. You know,
Mm.
there's people. I mean, this week we started a show for the Carnatic community, who is more South Indian, who generally have a different mother tongue, and then the Tamil community, who have a different mother tongue, and then obviously we still maintain our shows for our Pakistani community. We've got shows for our Bangladeshi community. We must be about 10, 12 different languages on Spice FM. So in tune with what ABC do, I think we're probably one of the most diverse community stations in the UK right now, which we're very proud of.
Which is fantastic. And you're doing quite a bit more broadly as well, right? As in, you're not only celebrating, bringing communities here.
Hmm.
But I noticed that you've been out and about connecting with other radio spaces and
Yeah.
stations and things like that and whatever else. Anyway, it's Jeff's going to be a bit upset, I think. Um, I didn't tell him I was coming into the studio, and it would have been so nice to see
Oh,
Jeff.
get him in
So it'd
now.
be
Get him in.
nice.
Come on, Jeff. Come in.
Yeah, get in the
Hey, good
studio.
morning, gentlemen.
Good
Hey,
morning, sir.
Jeff, where are
Hey.
you? Did you not get the memo?
I didn't, you know. Oh, no, I didn't.
What? Why
Oh,
not?
man, I could have actually come that way, but it's,
Well, it would have been easier and better for you to be here.
yeah, well, I've got meetings here shortly, so I'm not going to be able to come,
Yeah. And
fortunately.
that was my conversation with Sandeep Jaff was, one of the reasons I love coming in here just to see him more than anything else. But actually having meetings on either side of the radio show means
Mm.
that it works incredibly better for us being able to do so remotely, and hopefully it doesn't impact too much the actual experience of listeners.
Yeah, I think so, but maybe if we did it monthly, it would be nice to get ourselves into the studio because it is the heart and soul of the show.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And yeah, and equally, I agree. Maybe the last Friday, Juma of the month
Yeah,
is
that'd be
what we
good.
do. Sandeep, so tell us um, what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a very exciting point with Spice. I mean, people like Masood, I've got to big up Masood, who's worked really, really hard to onboard all these new presenters. Obviously, Amit, let's big shout out Amit, who's
Big
involved with
shout out to
big
Amit.
shout out Amit, who's involved
Yeah.
with every organization and everything in the world. But he does a lot of great work here at Spice as well. He's a bit of a silent hero here. He looks after quite a lot of our technical stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's really, really good place we're in at the minute. We're just loving all the breadth and depth of shows we've got on air at the minute, connecting with so many communities. So it's really good. And of course, our long established shows like Show Business, which is was 16 years and counting, nearly
Mad,
17 years. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Jeff, can you believe that? What? How did we start this, Sandeep? Can you remember?
I can vividly remember.
We came. I remember coming up to the pirate radio station that you had, and No, because it felt like it,
Never
right?
been
As in,
pirate.
it was upstairs on the West
Yeah.
Road, and yeah, I'm trying to recall how and who was around
Well, I
then.
remember the first conversation you came in. We just built that new studio, and you came in, and you were explaining what ABC were going to be because ABC was,
New then as well.
yeah, and it was like, oh, we've put with this together, and we're going to do this, and I was like, wow, that's brilliant. Yeah, you need to do a radio show, bro. And literally, you said, okay, fine. I don't know if I trained you. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you were doing a radio show.
No, I think you did, Sandeep. You did the first induction with us.
Did I? Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to do it back in the day.
Yeah,
So.
I'm getting old, obviously, as I'm getting old timers is what I am. And Jaff and Sandeep are super young guys, super fly guys is what they are. As
I don't want to make you feel old, gents, but that was roughly in 2008 that happened.
mad, is it?
yeah, long time.
No, 2009 is what it was.
2009
Yeah,
was it?
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, it was
roughly about then.
2008.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there you go.
yeah, it's 2009,
Oh my God.
and it's crazy, right? Because it's like it's ABC's grown, Spice has grown, and we've certainly grown as what we have. Jeff, you're looking fresher every single time I see you. You look like that Benjamin Button guy, haven't you? Have you Sandeep, you're not on the Zoomy thing, are
Hold on,
you?
I'm gonna do something here. Hold on, just put my mic down for a second.
Okay, I need to work this out. I was even playing Eye of the Tiger, Jeff, is what I was
Amazing.
doing. It was yeah, it was. It was crazy, is what it was.
Great.
And
How was your break, Ammar?
oh gosh, distant memory now, Jeff. Like went away there. It was nice. Couldn't really afford to go from a time and a business perspective. And I was just explaining to Sandeep on his breakfast show that we've got the International Trade Center space station. And I was explaining that, can you believe I've actually registered the trademark for International Space Station? Can you believe that?
Amazing. And that wasn't available. That was available.
Well, I'd started exploring it about 3-4 years ago, but yes, it's officially been registered, is what it is.
Amazing.
So we've got a series of these now. Um, so yeah, the break was good. Family time is incredibly important, and obviously it was the week before the start of Ramzan, and then Ramzan's kicked off. But I've literally come back, and Sandeep, we can't see you. Come on, what needs to happen to see you? To see you nice? Plug your thing in and turn it on, man. Will it not? Well, here, put it on this Zoom. Let's so come back. I don't know how everybody is or how everybody feels. Um um I don't know how everybody is or how everybody feels, but it just feels as if the world's got and got like crazier, hasn't it? Both with like time, like everyone's trying to cram more things in, and then just
Hmm.
people and world affairs, Jeff.
Yeah, I think. Do you feel that it comes from the top? Because, as in the world leaders,
As in
because I think
God.
all
All right.
they're all a bunch of nutcases, personally. And
I thought I was a world leader at one point. Anyway, thanks for that. Yeah, I am.
I think
Absolutely.
I think they create so much chaos and madness that I think it just filters down to everybody else, and everything is so fast.
Mm,
The one week is faster than the other. We already kind of are we in March, right? We're already in March, and where's the year
crazy.
gone? But then we always say that, and there's so much chaos and just everything seems to be all on the edge,
Mm.
and it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm really baffled by the leaders that they're supposed to be leaders that we look up to because they have a huge level of intelligence, they're articulate, they're calm, they're peaceful, they're diplomats. They've got an array of skill sets that we should envy, and they've got the whole world in their hands. Such a responsible thing, and yet
Mm.
all I hear about is new lines that, oh yeah, war is peace. And then I'm a bit confused about how war means peace. Um, so there's a lot of things like that are really, really strange stuff that's going on. And I really don't know. You don't know about what's going to happen from a week to next week. I mean, if there could be all out World War III in the next 2 weeks, and that wouldn't be a big surprise because there's been so much hype and talk about those things, and
Mm.
that's not something that we as citizens want, and we would want our leaders to go and make sure that they find ways of working together and having peace around the world, which I think, why is that not possible? Because the world's not exactly a small place. So I think that's where a lot of and that just has impact on the market and impact on your daily lives.
It's crazy, is what it is. But you're right. It actually creates and causes an issue. Um, and
Recording in progress.
oh, oh,
It's interesting. Amar, can see
You'll
you.
have to
You there?
forgive me a second
as
as
I
I
try
try.
and turn that off. Nope. What about now?
Is there an echo?
Yeah, I can
Is
hear
there an
it.
echo?
Yeah.
How do we get
this
this to work
so we can
so we
see
can see
you
you
and
and
not
not
feedback?
feedback?
It's not going to work because you connected to that lowest echo.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, that's a
well,
shame.
that's a shame.
Fair
Fair
enough.
enough.
I
I did.
Okay. Um, sorry
Sorry
about
about
this
this
to our
to our
viewers and
viewers
our
and our
listeners. You
listeners. You
can,
can.
it's
It's
scary.
scary.
Not
Not
only are
only
you
are you
getting
getting
a, an echo,
Oh,
you were,
yeah, I think we're
you,
back. We're back.
yeah, we are. So, I need to try and get this technically to work, for Sandeep because we need him in. But coming back to your world affair things, I just feel as if the world's, like, as you know, genuinely gone a bit crazy, and it starts affecting um, all of us in a variety of different ways. It's uh, and because people are so reliant on social media, um, that they believe everything they hear on it, it can be used to manipulate things, can't it?
I think that's the case with overall media anyway. And, I know that we're also a platform and there's rules and regulations and, what you can and cannot say. But I think with any platform, there is a level of responsibility, but there's messages that can inspire the wider public. And um, but now with social media, I think it's slightly different, Amar, because you can choose who you follow with a particular view. So it's probably a bit broader than what it was than just listening to the BBC News or the other news platforms that are out there who did have a particular line that they would kind of only go on. So I think maybe with social media, are you able to get more views that are broader than what you would get through the mediums, through the classic mediums?
Well, they are, but they're heavily influenced, aren't they?
Yeah, they
This
are.
is the challenge. You can, create whatever news story you want, and someone can pick it up and just simply share it. And as soon as they start doing that, it people believe it to be true. And
Yeah,
actually, some of the stories that people start with are almost, they'll start with, "Oh, this isn't on the mainstream media. Don't watch the mainstream media because they'll never tell the truth." And people automatically assume it to be true. It's the noise element of media now is just crazy, isn't it, Sandy?
It is, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, well, social media's got a lot to do with it, hasn't it? People twist and turn stories and add a bit and take away a bit. So it's kind of, you don't know what's true. You don't know what the actual true story is, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, these days you got so many messages that oh well, you've been eating this all your life. Don't eat this. Don't use detergent. Don't do this. Don't do this because this is what you should do. And I've been a professor in this
On your phone.
field for 50 years. And if you use a microwave, it's going to destroy your food. And there's so many different things. And you're like, oh my God, who do you listen to? Who do you not listen to?
Yeah.
Is it coming through the speaker or something, Sandy?
No.
No. So I'm just wondering how it's picking up the slight echo, isn't it?
Is Zoom on your phone?
Zoom's not on my phone.
We, I can't hear any echoes at all. I don't know if the other listeners
Echo,
can.
echo, echo, echo. What? I could hear echo, echo, echo. Did you not hear that? Yeah, no echoes on my side from SME to everyone. Wonderful. Thank you, Jamie. Gosh, yeah. So coming back to life, back to reality. I'm sure that was a song, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Jazzy B.
Jazzy B and Karen. Come on, Sandy.
Carpenter.
Karen Miller?
Karen something, I can't remember.
Oh, that
Wheeler,
was a shop,
Karen
wasn't
Wheeler.
it?
Karen Wheeler,
Karen
that's it.
Millen.
Karen Wheeler, that's the
Karen
one.
Millen was a shop, wasn't it? Was it? Was
It
it
was
not
a
like
shop.
a super duper shop
Yeah.
that like 20
Ladies
people
fashion.
like
Can
go?
I tell you a story about Karen Wheeler? She actually sang that song to me, to my face directly.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
In where? Double.
In the restaurant, because she came upstairs to Hoochie Coochie to do a performance, and they came down before, and I said, "Oh, go on, oh, I love that song," and then she started singing it to us, and it was amazing.
Well, sing it to us then, Jeff.
I don't have the voice, man. I've got a husky voice today.
Yeah, you could have tried it, you know. Anyway, so business, what's going on, Sandeep? How do you feel, at the cutting edge of hospitality, events type of thing? How are you feeling?
It's hard. I mean, our customers, for instance, are they're holding back and they're holding back, and everyone's looking for the slightly cheaper alternative or something that's a bit more cost effective. And there's genuinely, I think, a worry out there about, the cost of living. Everything's so expensive. Everything's so expensive. I mean, sometimes we're embarrassed to quote what we quote for weddings because it's just like, oh my God, is that actually how much it's going to cost? But it's just the sad reality. Just everything is just so really expensive.
Jeff, from a premium brand perspective, is it impacting you yet, or?
I think it is. I think it's impacting everybody. I mean, we are probably slightly in a better position. Well, it varies amongst the restaurants, but I think the corporate world is still all right. They've still got the monies. If you have, people entertaining other business people, they've still got money in the kitty to be able to do that. But I think locals in Jesmond, probably it's a slightly different dynamic because it's all about local people, very few corporates, and I would say that there is society has having its impact on that particular location. So I think the families are probably feeling the pinch a little bit more than the corporate world at the moment, from my understanding. Or what
Yeah, and I imagine, and I think it's everything's different, right? But looking at the news and statistics, it's the 5th or 6th month after the budget, and since the budget, month on month, professional firms and corporates have been reducing staff. So every single month, there's been a reduction in staffing, and that arguably is the most significant cost generally for a business. Now, the problem with doing that is it reduces your capacity as well, right? So all of a sudden, you can't do as much, and you're trying to squeeze more from your existing resource, and it's a bit of a naive sort of knee-jerk response. In fact, in when the economy is impacted and contracting, what businesses should be doing is exploring how they scale. The most successful businesses look at, okay, what is their business model? How do they operate? What are the newer opportunities? And Sandeep was kindly asking me about the International Trade Centre at Newcastle Airport, the first of its kind. And we're creating a growing global community. And what does that mean? What does that mean from a practical element? Well, yes, we're looking at those high growth sectors like innovation, health tech, um, and manufacturing, advanced manufacturing. But actually, as a business, what are the three biggest growth enablers? It's digital. So if you don't have digital and you haven't utilized digital, people are a lot more comfortable doing things on their phone. So making bookings, how do you map out your journey? So Sandeep, if we just picked out hospitality, if we just picked out events, right?
Mm.
How do you create a unique environment where, for example, somebody says, here's my budget, as opposed to what it's going to cost, right?
Mhm.
So the greatest question you can ask somebody, and the best one from a business perspective, is how much have you got to spend?
Yeah.
Right? Because then you're not going to waste your time if they say, well, I've got £5 ahead and your starting point's 50, right?
Yeah.
As in, you're going to go, I'm not even going to go there. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Because businesses, sadly, start on this journey of a race to the bottom. Okay, I need to cut my costs because I need to get more people in. I need to cut my costs. I need to get more people in. And before you know it, you're not making any money. Before you know it, you're sustaining a business that's not viable. So creating a digital type of experience where somebody can go, all right, here's what I'd like. Here's, you give them two or three options digitally. It takes it away from a give me a discount type of approach, right? Is what it does. Because that's what everybody wants now. So having a digital type of, okay, can I just direct you to my digital experience? But not just looking at that in isolation, doing that by way of what I would describe business model innovation. So, Jaff, I appreciate that both you and Sandeep are in hospitality type of space. But how can you then start looking at collaborating with other businesses from different sectors? How do you use the technology within health tech or advanced manufacturing to improve what you do?
Mm.
Right? So how do you, and that's bringing businesses together.
Yeah.
The most successful businesses come together. The gone are the days of competition. Now it's all about collaboration. You look at
Absolutely.
Amazon, Uber, everybody, it's just about creating a platform, a marketplace. Now imagine if you brought in that opportunity to pick and choose. So going back to if we were looking at the best events, well, what makes the best events? It's the people, right? It's the
Absolutely.
memories.
Yeah.
It's the sort of faultless experience. And you're both incredibly great at delivering what you do in a different way, right? But it is ultimately about it's special. People want to be made special.
Yeah.
People want to feel special. It's a feeling, it's an emotion. Gone are the transactional days of when you go out. It's okay. So how do you enhance that? Well, you bring in additional opportunities, digitize it, have a VR event.
Yeah. Well, we found in our industry when I mean if we go back to the pandemic and there was all these virtual events and virtual shows and all that, and it just lost that personal touch.
Oh, without a doubt.
And we were I mean there's one thing that kind of our core event, even with Jaff, your core customers is one thing. I mean, AI, okay, we can use AI as tools for the business, but the actual core experience is a people to people experience, isn't it? It's a person greeting a person in a restaurant. It's a person, a wedding is a very personal life event. So the core event is going to happen. And people want that personal experience. They want to have somebody, a human, talking to them rather than, I mean, you can go online and this,
Chatbot stuff.
yeah, and you're talking to a chatbot and this and that. It just doesn't work. I mean, we find our customers still want that personal experience, and I mean, we'll use all the digital tools. I mean, even like invites are now all digital. Everyone, there's no sort, paper invites are less and less and less. So there's so many tools out there. But I think in hospitality for us, for events, it's still that people to people, that personal touch for us. I don't know what Jaff thinks from a
Well, no,
restaurant point of
exactly.
view.
My sentiments are exactly the same. I think, whilst digitally we've enhanced reservation systems and A, B, C, and D, the core ethos of the business, you can't give a digital, you can't serve the guest unless you can have a robot in. And I think some clever MD will at some point think that, yeah, let's do that. That's going to be brilliant. But I just can't see a world where I don't want to go to a restaurant where a robot's coming and approaching me and wanting to take my order and serve my food.
Really, I'd love that.
Um,
I'd actually, no, but I'm just saying this is the difference, right? I suppose this is where you're looking at in the business and on the business. So both of you are absolutely right. I want to talk to somebody. I want to be able to interact, right? And it would almost feel a bit clinical. It would almost feel a bit odd or peculiar if I was having a digital type of experience in an analog world. Having said all of that, I wouldn't be uncomfortable with that experience being amplified because I've done this bit digitally because it's easier, it's more convenient for me, it's more convenient for you.
Mm.
So going back to, okay, we want to offer you the best experience ever. Give us your budget, give us an example. What are you looking for? Identify, here's 20 themes, 10 themes. What would you like? Here's a couple of videos of, what's happened previously.
Yeah.
Look at these in your own time, whether it's look, I'm going to send you a link via WhatsApp, go through this with your family, do
Absolutely.
whatever it is, right? And the same thing with a reservation. Okay, we'd love to see you, by the way, can you pay, what we'd like you to do is almost, why don't you pay in advance? Or we give you a discount, right? Why don't you pay in advance in a restaurant and we'll give you a little bit of a discount? But actually, also, why don't you consider joining our membership? It's reoccurring revenue themes, isn't it?
Sure.
It's a why don't you look? We've got a sliding scale of discount, right, for those who refer their business to us.
Mm.
Right. So
Yeah.
so if you've had a great time and we're going to make sure you've had a great time, why don't you refer someone, build up some points
Yeah.
and help each other? All of these type of giveaway, the people class them as gimmicks,
Well,
but they work.
I think in mine, probably, and Jaff's trade, the big thing now, I mean, the digital aspect is reviews, isn't it? I mean, it's Google reviews or TripAdvisor. It's one of the first things, even in our business now, we're very, very focused that if you've had a good wedding with us or a good event, please leave us a review because it's really important to have those reviews for future sort of leads. And same with the restaurant trade, right, Jaff?
do you know what? We've not that hung up on reviews because
Okay.
there are some restaurants, without naming names, I mean, they are number one on TripAdvisor, brilliant. And because they'll go to every single guest and they'll kind of, oh, will you please do a review? But we still feel a bit embarrassed to ask that question.
Okay.
But also, we feel that those that are, if you understand and if you're from kind of the restaurant background and you're a restaurateur, then like, let's say one of our restaurants might have 1,000 reviews, and it might be it's been open for 15 years, right? So that's 1,000 people out of a pool of probably a couple of million. So it's actually not a fair and a true representation of what that restaurant is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it depends on your stance on reviews. If people are threatening you, saying, "Oh well, if you're not going to give me a discount here, mate, then I'm going to go and stick on a review," and we've usually kind of held our line and said that, look, we have to give anything. If there's anything wrong, we'll take accountability. But there's society is full of you encounter lots of different scenarios. But I think the reviews is important because people it's out there, but it depends on how you look at it. We personally like to look at ensuring that all the guests that come in, all of them have the best possible experience, and focus more on that as opposed to what it looks like out there in the mediums. And then if it looks all glossy on the outside and on the inside, actually things are not correct, then that would be a false pretense. So different perspectives on reviews. It's important, but I feel it's not the be all and end all of everything.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because I suppose it depends. If no one's heard of you or heard of, the first thing you're going to look at, all those things, when you're looking at booking a holiday or you're going somewhere new or whatever it is, you go through them and then you take them with a pinch of salt. Because you're right. Because the vast majority of people who leave, people are 10 times more likely to complain than they are to compliment. That's a matter of fact.
That is true, yes.
I think what we've done is we based our business based on recommendation is more important than the reviews.
But that's not dissimilar, is it?
It's not.
What you're doing. Word of mouth still remains. Word of mouth still remains the top way of getting sales for any business. Right? It's word of mouth. Oh, I've done this. I read this book. Right, I was away last week, and we stayed at this place in space, and it was wonderful. It was like self-catering. Don't normally do that. It was quite relaxed, and is it something I'd do again? Probably not really, because for holidays for me, or going away and spending some time where you get what you want when you want it, as opposed to having to cook it. Is the thing. Anyway, there was this book there, and it's arguably one of the best books, if not the best book I've ever come about, right? It was that good that despite me having to, being away with the family, doing family things, being out and about, doing some great experiences, making memories, and I managed to read a third of it, 2/3 of it, and it's probably about that big, is what it is. And I bought a copy for every member of my team and got it posted and introduced it to them this Monday. So everyone's obviously now going, what book is it? I'd love to say it was like a religious book, because I get everyone should be have a sense of purpose. But anyway, it was Tools of the Titans by Tim Ferriss.
Right.
And you have to read it. It is one of the best books. And because more recently I felt as if going back to the noise and distraction, that I've almost got ADHD, right? It's like I'll be sat there doing something and then you go, oh, I've got that to do. And oh, well, I'll do this. And then you find yourself really unproductive at times because you're constantly chasing and doing different things.
God, I feel your pain.
and everyone feels like that, because of this stupid thing is what it is. It's like digitally on, lost in emails, lost in messages, lost in reviews. And the book, though, is such a good book. I mean, even my brother sent me a picture of it. The reason why it's such a good book is because it's great if you've got ADHD. It's in bite sizes. It's 3-4 pages. There's some top tips, actionable advice, some great learning, and it's the insights from every single successful and what they'll say is unsuccessful, because people define success distinctly differently, right? But it's got a health, wealth, and happiness section in it, and it tells you practically what you could and couldn't do. And anyway, the reason why I mentioned that book is word of mouth, right? I've become evangelistic about like his book, and I'm looking at his previous books and various other things that he's written and done and whatever else. He's got so many podcasts and all of that, and it's crazy, right? Because the other thing that I reflected upon was me saying I haven't got time, me saying I couldn't really afford. We'd booked this breakup 18 months ago, So timing was the worst ever from a business perspective. The International Trade Center is probably the most significant project of my life. It's my legacy,
Right.
right? It's like the biggest thing I've ever done. So, taking the building and the following week going away is crazy, right?
Mm.
And whilst I was working out there and still managing, juggling all of that, it's funny because you'll always find the time to do what you truly need or want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I still managed to read this book.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So there's some, anyway, check the book out. Not yet. I'm waiting for my referral link. So then I, get a brokerage for every book that he gets. And I'm in the middle of writing my book. But anyway, coming back to the trade center, right? What is it? We were talking about business models. So I'm concentrating on scale ups. So if you have a business and you want to grow 10 times, well, that's who we're targeting. So a bit like Jalf's customers, particular type of customer. We're looking at particular types of businesses. You want to grow your business, and it's capable of growing at least 10 times as to what you're doing now. And we're bringing people together. So we're creating a community, is what we are. So you've got scale ups. You've then got service providers. So these are professional service providers, accountants, solicitors, but the best, the very best. And they're coming together to support those scale ups. And what are they getting? Well, they're getting access to those scale ups, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the ground floor. And the third critical element is international students. So we're recruiting international students as interns, as graduate placements to support the businesses who want to grow 10x internationally. So the growth for that business, they want to grow globally because actually, sadly, our country here is contracting. There's limited opportunities. It's harder to make money here. So what do you need to do? You need to look at other marketplaces, and that's how you're going to grow 10x. So Middle Eastern students, Indian students, we're recruiting, we're bringing them over, and we're bringing them over on the basis that they're going to study either for India 2047, which is India's vision to become the leading economy, or Saudi 2030, right? Or our regional growth plan here. So what are we trying to do in the Northeast? So rather than an agent in India, someone going, I want to be an engineer. All right, yeah, great. Come. Actually, I'll go and do an MBA or go and do an arts degree. And the agent convinces them to do that because it's in the interest of the agent. It has no relevance to career opportunities once they've done the degree. So we're joining that up. What's the value to that student? Well, whilst they're here studying in the greatest region in the world, right, they're getting live experience supporting the companies who want to grow to India or Saudi or Turkey or whatever it is. They speak the language, they understand the culture, they have the religion, all of that. And if at the end of that study, they either get kept on here as the company's ambassador, or they're going to go back to their home country and get a job there working for that company. It's like crazy. And then the fourth element is investors. So we're bringing investors together because the challenge is money. So investors get access to these scale-ups, get opportunities. So that's the ground floor. And on the first floor, we're bringing in international companies. So we've got a delegation next month from India. We've got a delegation from Saudi. We've got delegation from Emirates across the UAE. We've got all of these delegations. They're going to come up here. They're going to invest. They're going to set up here. And they're going to collaborate with the businesses on the ground floor as well as local students. That's the business model. What do you think?
Brilliant. I think it's really good. And I think you've made it easy for anybody, like you say. You've got something on your doorstep in the Northeast, which is almost a hub. It's like Narnia, isn't it? When you open the wardrobe into the world, and that wardrobe's here.
So we've got Ministry of Investment from Saudi. We've got various different organizations, FICCI from India and various other organizations across the globe. And we've underpinned it with the Institute of Enterprise and Entrepreneurship, right? This is the UK's Institute of Enterprise and Entrepreneurship. They underpin everything. So as a student, you actually get those qualifications as well. So you're getting an enterprise qualification. You become a member of the Institute of Enterprise and Entrepreneurship and work your way up there.
Excellent.
So it's like super exciting. But what I'm excited about is bringing the different sectors and different businesses together to create this ecosystem. I don't like the term because it's used flippantly, and people go, well, what does it even mean? We're doing it genuinely and properly because it's all about either fixing things or making them better for businesses so you can grow. And the world is crazy. It's like, as you say, but the exciting opportunities in South Asia and in the Middle East, that's where businesses need to be thinking about.
Absolutely.
I think what makes sense, Ammar, is obviously this has been quite a long time in the making.
20 years, Jeff?
But it's tying itself right now. I think the most poignant part of what's happening in the economy in the UK is that there is such great level of contraction, and not just in all across the board, from property developers to restaurateurs to all across the board. Everyone is really, really struggling. And as things get difficult, people are looking to leave the country.
Yeah.
But maybe something like this would maybe retain their kind of all of that skill set within the UK, but it might find a different way of being the conduit. Instead of them just leaving entirely, they could probably look at something like this and say, well, actually, okay, I'll stay at my home, but then maybe look at how we can explore and expand internationally via this medium, because it might not be something that they don't have that understanding, they don't know the roadmap on how to do it. So by providing that in this climate at this moment in time is probably a huge opportunity.
No, it is. And we're already looking at building these globally. So our roadmap isn't just to have one here. We're looking at Tees Valley, we're looking at Leeds, Bradford, we're looking at Saudi, Riyadh, we're looking at Bangalore, Karnataka, in India. We've developed because we've got the relationships. We've fostered them, and you'd be so surprised the level of support available for businesses who want to go and set up. Like if you've got a service or any type of product in Saudi, you can almost set up without any risk other than obviously, going there. So there's huge opportunities, and there's trillions of pounds worth of projects across every single sector. So, people might be sat there going, well, I'm not manufacturing, I'm not building train lines, or I don't make cars, or I don't hospitality. The demand for variety is immense. And actually, the one thing that I've realized is there is too much opportunity at times. So what you need to do is have the International Space Station air view, look at your business model, provide you with the training, assess what country is the best. Might be America, might be Europe, it might be elsewhere. We might be saying, you might be sat there going, oh, should we go to China? And we go, well, actually, I don't think you should, because of our understanding and the people in the country who will then evaluate and validate that. So it's exciting, and it's placing the Northeast further on the map is what it is. So anybody who's exporting, anybody who's importing, anybody who's involved in any travel, anything like that, anybody who's got any business who wants to scale 10 times internationally, that's who we're targeting. If you don't want to scale, then we're being really fussy. It's an exclusive place, but we will equally support businesses to get to that stage. So we'll be running programs. Sandeep, you've done a program. How was it?
A program of
Innovation. when you came and done one of our programs in Tees Valley and
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It was good. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. It was a 2 day residential we did, which was I mean, part of it was like you mentioned the community, the other people out on the course. You kind of made sort of links with them, and a few of them I'm still in touch with.
brilliant.
And it was really good. And it was all about, if you remember, it was all about the pitch, wasn't it? That program.
Well, it was pitch perfect and it's storytelling. And
Yeah.
that's what businesses are going back to. How do businesses grow? How do you grow as an individual? It's your ability to storytell, right? As
Yeah.
in tell an authentic
Yeah.
connection story. And people buy from people.
Well, I think my takeaway from that event was that the power of a story, and I was like, wow, that's true. That you just have to tell a story, and out of that kind of things kind of develop and come, and it leads on to other things. Brilliant. It was a great course.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, so we're running a series of these on internationalization. We're working not in isolation. So for Department for Business and Trade, Ministry of Investments, investment promotion agencies, and such like. Anyway, got a couple of minutes left, and time flies when you're having fun. But in doing so, there's great activities. Holi's coming up, right? As in Gem Arts Festival.
Yeah, it's
Jalf,
big.
you're involved in the Gem Arts again? And
Yes, we
Salah?
are. We've had a great relationship with Gem Arts over a good few years now, so we're looking forward to this year.
I think it's fantastic, and there's a number of things that I've seen online that I observe, and there's various events going on.
Can I just plug the Spice FM What's On guide where we collaborate all of these amazing diverse events on Spice FM on the website.
In which case, what we'll do through ABC is make sure that we link back to that. So,
Brilliant.
Jamie, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, let's get the What's On Spice FM guide. Anyway, you've been listening to Ammar and
Jalf.
live on our weekly radio show with the Super Sandeep special in the studio. Lots of S's. We'll be back next week. We'll talk a little bit about Ramadan as well, and how do people feel, and what's the impact, and how can people have a conversation around it. I think understanding is key. Community is critical, and for us, we're going to continue connecting, supporting, and promoting pretty much everyone in our wonderful region. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back.